Hello and welcome into the latest edition of ESPN FC. Kay Murray and Stevie Nicol here in the studio. The Premier League is back and it got underway with Arsenal, the defending champions, taking on the newly promoted Coventry City on Friday. We got to look at that game and look at what we can expect from Arsenal. Bruno Guimaraes was absent for the game, the new signing, by the way, from some slight tension in his groin, so we didn't get to see him in the Arsenal kit today. But we do get our Frank Leboeuf joining us now to talk more about what we saw from Arsenal today. And when you look at it, Frank, I know it was the Community Shield. People say it doesn't matter so much against Manchester City. This is up against Coventry City today, a newly promoted side. But still, from what we've seen so far, Arsenal are going to be a force to be reckoned with once again.
Yes, you're absolutely right, Kay. They proved during the Community Shield, because I disagree with people who think it doesn't really matter. It does matter in terms of confidence. And it's always nice to have a silverware as well. And it brings something that you can use for the first game, even if it's a newly promoted team, to get into the best way into the Premier League. And it's what they did today. They've been absolutely professional. The attitude was great. And there is nothing to say about that team. They are, as we said after the Community Shield, spot on. They know what they have to do. And on paper, because we don't know what the other worth, they are much better than anybody else. So if they keep on doing like that, on top of it, they have a big depth on the bench. If they keep on doing like that, I don't see any other contender for the Premier League this season.
What did you like today about Arsenal, Stevie?
Well, what's not to like? Clean sheet, 3 goals, total domination. Some nice football. Made plenty of changes in the second half. Got everybody game time. I mean, there's not a thing you can say yet about this Arsenal side that is not to like. Solid at the back, solid in the middle, and creative with Odegaard. You know, a couple of seasons ago he got 15 goals. Well, he started the season pretty well. He did score today, a little bit fortunate, but he's getting himself in forward areas. Certainly did today. And Havertz scores, Saka scores, Solly's new signing.
Looking good again.
Looked great. I mean, as Frank said, you cannot, with any real gumption, try and make a case for anybody else being favourites for the Premier League.
And on top of this, Frank, they did present Ezri Konsa before the game, just to add to the good times rolling right now.
I didn't hear what you say. I'm sorry.
Ezri Konsa was presented before the game, just to add to the positivity right now at Arsenal.
You know what? When he signed for Arsenal, I said, well, that's a very good thing for him, coming from Aston Villa, and it's a very good thing for of course the Gunners, and because he's a great player and he proved during the World Cup he's a great defender. He can, on top of it, play centre backs or maybe right back. But I'm concerned when William Saliba is going to be back. You know, what are you going to do? And you're going to make it work. Well, you know, big teams, they have big individuals, and lots of them. So I'm sure Arteta would know how to work on that. But there will be a big competition because you have Nketiah, you have Mosquera, you have Gabriel, you have Konsa, you have William Saliba, only as centre backs. So it's huge. And it's very good for the Gunners because you have individuals, but you have to deal with the dressing room. And how it works with the dressing room is up to the coach. So it's good to sign big-time players, but how they handle each other with the competition, that we don't know. The future will say.
It is something that you brought up when you saw that he'd been presented today, saying, is someone going?
I did, but I had sort of forgotten about Timber being injured, Saliba being injured, and competition is absolutely what you need. If you've just won a big trophy, the question is always going to be thrown at you: are you going to calm down? Are you going to put your foot on the pedal or not? Are you going to start thinking you've done it, seen it, the whole thing? And I think with this signing, it just shows that upstairs at Arsenal and the manager are not going to rest on the laurels. And the fact that Konsa has had no problem signing for Arsenal, knowing that they've got, as Frank said, 4 or 5. If you want to throw White in there as a centre-back, but he wants to be there. I don't think it is a concert. If he doesn't start anytime soon, is going to be causing any problems. I mean, this team is just phenomenal, strong. The mix in the dressing room clearly has to be good. You know, you don't win league titles. You certainly don't win the Premier League if your dressing room is not as one, as a unit, and all together. And there is nothing to suggest that this Arsenal side, regardless of how many centre-backs or players in any other position they have, they look as though they mean business, big time.
So there's been a lot of talk about the future of Miles Lewis-Skelly. He started today, and Arteta has said that he's 100% confident that he's staying. The player is not talking about wanting to go elsewhere either. Yeah. This is a player you think that they should be keeping hold of? I
think so, yeah. I mean, he's only going to get better. Again, he showed us today what he's capable. He played a couple of fantastic passes. He played a through ball 25 yards out, split the defence. Unfortunately, Calafiori couldn't go on the end of it. And this is still a kid. And he's playing in front of a guy who just won the World Cup, and Zubimendi as well. He's in front of Eze as well. I mean, so the manager, I would suggest at this period in time, it's not possible that he's in a stronger position. And if the manager's saying 100% he wants him to stay, I would be shocked. And the player wants to stay as well. So, yeah, unless it's one of those ridiculous offers, then there's no way that Miles Lewis-Skelly is going anywhere.
Yeah, going back to Christos Solis, if we can though, Frank, what a start this player has had in both of the games that we've seen him so far for Arsenal.
Amazing, amazing, full of confidence, you know, he knows exactly what to do. He was going even from the left side, I've saw that many times the first half, from the left side to the right side, and everybody would say, well, what is he doing? Well, he knows what he's doing. He exactly knows. It's like he's been there for like years, and he's been absolutely fantastic since he signed for Arsenal. Hopefully it's going to work for him. He's a great, talented player for sure. Again, if you know what you have to do, if you're confident about your skill, you're going to bring something special. And it's not coming he didn't sign for the Gunners randomly, like that. Because Arteta saw what he was capable of giving, and that's a great signing. Coming from nowhere, the guy, well, nowhere, in a way that we didn't expect him to sign. That's a great, great signing.
Yeah, and a great, great start for Arsenal. And starting as they mean to go on, no doubt. Much more talk about Arsenal over on our YouTube channel. Make sure to check it out. Jose Mourinho gets his second stint as Real Madrid coach underway this weekend. They are away to Espanyol, and our Martin Einstein's been catching up with Jose Mourinho, asking him what advice the 2013 edition of Jose, who left Real Madrid back then, would give the Jose coming into Real Madrid once again in 2026.
¿Qué le aconsejaría al Mourinho de 2013 al Mourinho de hoy?
Buena pregunta, ¿eh? Pregunta filosófica. Pregunta difícil. Mira, es que el Mourinho de hoy es lo que está en condiciones de aconsejar el Mourinho de 2013. El de 2013 no está en condiciones, es un poco como eres tú que aconsejas a tu padre o tu padre que te aconseja a ti, ¿no? La única cosa que yo digo es que tienes que estar siempre muy tranquilo. Y para mí es mucho más fácil estar ahora tranquilo que 5 años atrás, 10 años atrás, 20 años atrás. Es siempre una evolución.
Stevie's a little shocked there as we bring in Stuart Robson and Ali Moreno from Barcelona right now. What was it, Stevie?
I don't think I've ever seen him stumped.
Stumped?
He was absolutely stumped. He was trying to dig himself out of somewhere because he just didn't know what to say. That's the first time ever.
Although I wonder, Stuart and Alejandro, it does feel as though we're seeing a different version of Mourinho right now.
First of all, okay, just call me Alejandro. That's nice. That's nice. I know she means business when she says Alejandro. It's like when my mom calls me Alejandro. As it pertains to Jose Mourinho, in fact, I just watched his press conference, and I think we're seeing a more mellow version of Jose Mourinho, a more mature version of Jose Mourinho. But my big question to you, Stewie, is that going to last?
Well, he says he's more calm these days than he was before. Well, I saw him when he was manager of Roma. I saw him in Turkey. He wasn't particularly calm. He's been sent off more times than he ever was when he was at Chelsea, when he was at Manchester United, when he was at Real Madrid the first time round. So I don't think he is a calmer person than he was before. At the moment he is, and he's saying all the right things, and he's in a very good job, and he's in a good position. But calm is not one of the ways I would describe Jose Mourinho.
And it's the same thing that when we look at Mourinho now, and he's trying to deflect attention away from himself, and he's trying to sort of talk about the team and the importance of the team, and I'm so calm, and I'm so above all of this, and this pressure is not for me, and I'm thinking to myself, yeah, I don't think we want this version of Mourinho. Don't give me the calm, mature Mourinho. That's boring. That's not what separates Jose Mourinho from the rest. There is something else here about Mourinho. There's that it factor that you want to see from him. And I think if this team is going to be successful, they need that it factor. They don't want the calm, cool, mellow, boring Mourinho. They need the guy that can get something out of this team and squeeze the very best out of this team. I don't know how you feel about it.
Yeah, to a certain degree. I think what he's got to come in, I don't think he's a fantastic coach anymore in terms of the tactics. We don't see anything different from him than we saw 10, 15 years ago. What I think he's got to do is come in, he's got to get the players disciplined. That's what Real Madrid have lacked. He's got to be a good man manager. That's what they liked under Ancelotti. They didn't like under Xavi Alonso. So he's got to be a manager that's going to get the best out of players. He's going to have to be calm at the right times. He's going to have to be aggressive with his players when they don't do what he wants them to do. But he's got to make sure they're disciplined in the way they play, the way they close the ball down, and where they keep their positions. Because he's not going to come up with something fantastic tactically.
Yeah, we don't expect them to be something fantastic tactical, but we do want to see a different attitude from Real Madrid. And I think if there was something that we all can agree that Real Madrid has lacked over the last couple of years is an attitude that is consistent, an attitude that lets you know that this team is in it, that this team is competing, that this team is willing to push themselves to the limit in order to get the results. I don't think we got that sort of vibe from Real Madrid, certainly last season. And what we did get was in-house fighting. Lack of discipline on the field, lack of discipline off the field. Your superstar hanging out with his girlfriend and a yacht when he should be rehabbing his injury. That's what we saw from Real Madrid. And those are a lot of things that he's going to have to deal with that have nothing to do with what happens on the field. And then on top of that, you have to have some version of Real Madrid that is far more creative, far better defensively, far more disciplined. It's a lot of things that Jose Mourinho is going to have, or a lot of boxes that he's going to have to check if this team is going to be able to be successful this season.
But they've also got some new players, which might add to the discipline. Players that we can't say have been ill-disciplined before at Real Madrid because they've just come in. So Canate, Cucurella, Dumfries at right back, Bernardo Silva, field. So he's got to make sure he gets the best out of those, and they then go on to the likes of Jude Bellingham and Vinicius Junior and Mbappe to get the best out of them in terms of what they do, work rate, what their attitude's like when things aren't going well. Their spirit has to be much better than it's been over the last 2 years.
So, big question for you then, Stewie, is Ancelotti could not do it, Xabi Alonso could not do it. Is Jose Mourinho going to be able to get the very best of Vini Jr. and Kylian Mbappe at the same time when they're on the field, both working with each other rather than against each other?
Depends how they start the season. If they start the season well and everybody believes what Mourinho's doing and the players start to combine well, and Jude Bellingham is the player we saw at the World Cup and not the one we saw at Real Madrid for a season and a half.
You love Jude Bellingham.
And if they play with the right attitude and they start well, then I think it'll all go well for him. And I think they've got a chance of winning La Liga. If it starts badly, then of course everybody starts looking at each other. Well, I can't play with him and he can't play and he's doing the wrong runs. And that's when they've got a problem. He needs a good start to the season.
Okay. And if he needs a good start of the season, how do they handle the lack of a holding midfielder, which is an issue that they did not address? The absence of Toni Kroos has been talked about time and time again. They haven't addressed that. Who then takes on that role, and how are they going to be able to be successful and control the midfield?
depends what sort of midfield player they want. They're obviously going to go probably at the weekend or tomorrow night with Valverde as one of the holding midfield players. Bernardo Silva has played there for Man City, but he's a different sort of holding midfield player. He's somebody who wants to get on the ball, a bit like Toni Kroos to a certain degree. He's not got the range of passing, but he'll dictate the pace of the game. So I think that's probably how he's going to go, rather than having a dominant midfield player in terms of defensive, like he probably would have wanted with Rodri.
Okay. What about Cucurella? What does he bring to this team?
Everything.
Okay.
He brings, I think, passion when he's...
And hair.
And
which
hair, yeah.
we
which we
appreciate.
haven't got, yeah.
Yes, we appreciate that.
But
yes.
he's got everything you want from a left back. He can race forward and get crosses into the box. He's aggressive when he's defending. And I think he's got a lot of spirit and he's good on the ball. So I think Cucurella is one of the world's best left backs. And now Real Madrid have got him on board.
All right. So, we're about to start the season for Real Madrid. What do you think happens with this team this season? What looks like a successful season for them?
They've got to win La Liga.
Okay.
And I think they've got a better chance. At the end of the last season, when they appointed Mourinho, I said, this is going to get worse and worse. But the signings they've made, having seen Jude Bellingham at the World Cup and playing with passion and energy and doing all the right things, seeing Mbappe play with more discipline at the World Cup and scoring Liga, I think they've now got a very good team. And it just needs Mourinho to keep calm and make sure he gets the best out of those players.
Okay. So are they going to win La Liga?
I think they might well do, yes.
Is there a commitment there?
There was a commitment there, yes.
Okay. So you like Melo Mourinho?
I like Melo Mourinho, yeah.
Melo Mourinho is going to be boring for us. I'm going to tell you that much, Kay.
Melo Mourinho, I love it. Yeah, I do wonder how it's all going to play out. Let's talk a little bit, if we can, with you guys about Barcelona, because you've got a double whammy this weekend. After that game between Espanyol and Real Madrid, you're heading down to Alicante to see Elche against Barcelona. I'd be interested in the concerns, Ali. I know a few of yours, but from Stuart with this team this season, if there are any. Yes, they've obviously lost Lewandowski. They've lost Ferran Torres. They're really playing without a centre forward. The Egyptian, you say his name much better than I do.
Hamza Abdelkarim.
They are.
Yeah.
He's done well in pre-season, and he'll probably lead the line. Anthony Gordon's coming. Could he play at centre forward? I'm not sure he will. He'll play on the left-hand side. The one player I'm worried about, because I think he's key to Barcelona, I'm sure you agree, is Rafinha. Is he fully fit? He's had a lot of injuries over the last season. He obviously came out of the World Cup. If he's fully fit, I think Barcelona have got every chance of repeating the last couple of seasons. If he's not, I think they might just be 10% lower than they should be.
So while you have your concerns about the lack of a centre forward, it's not powerful enough of a concern to kind of give you the idea that this team is not good enough to win La Liga?
No, I still think they've got some great talent. You know, they've got a fantastic midfield now with Rodri coming in. Don't forget they've got De Jong. We thought that De Jong and Pedri were the best footballing centre midfield players in the world at one point. De Jong's injured at the moment. Rodri will come in and give them something different. I hope that we see Dani Olmo, who doesn't always get in the team, do what he did for Spain at the World Cup, and in that Amundsen role. Yamal back at his very best, and any one of Rafinha or Gordon start to show their brilliance in the wide areas.
And that control that Barcelona has in the midfield and what they can do in the attack is what I think allows us to forget about the high line. Yes, the high line is still very much part of the conversation.
It's been at least 3 or 4 minutes before you mentioned it.
Yeah.
I think it's the first reference this season, though,
that
Stuart.
That hasn't gone away.
Oh, is it? Oh, that's okay then, yeah.
But it hasn't gone away. No. That concern hasn't gone away. My concern for Rodri is, what Rodri are we going to get? World Cup Rodri, fantastic for Barcelona. Now, the guy who's injured and can't keep up with the pace of the game, which is what happened with Manchester City most of last season, that's concerning. I do think that the presence of Rodri, as I've mentioned a couple of times on the show, frees up Pedri. And I believe that Pedri is a far more effective player when he's able to join in the attack and create in attacking positions than just a guy who is a distributor and a connector from the back line to the rest of the team. While he can do that, and he can do that very well, I think there's more for Pedri to do for this team offensively.
Well, we were a bit disappointed, I think, because both you and I had Pedri as going to be the best player at the World Cup, and he wasn't quite that, and in the end he didn't actually get in the team. So he wasn't at his best. I'm hoping when we see him play for Barcelona again this season, with Rodri next to him, with Olmo in front of him, he's going to be the world-class player that we saw for the last 2 years.
But that's a concern. You just mentioned it. With Rodri alongside him, didn't seem to fit what Pedri wanted to do. And so I think there needs to be, I'm sure there's been a conversation already, I do think that there needs to be an effort and an emphasis on telling Pedri, you got to get forward. You got to go supporting the attack and let Rodri do what he does best.
Yeah, that would suit both players, I think, because Rodri likes to be the holding player. He likes to get on the ball. He likes to break up attacks. And Pedri likes to go forward. And he can see passes that nobody else can. And he's got that great ability to let the ball run across his body. Yeah, let's hope that works for them.
Okay, so this is what we know from Stewie. He loves Barcelona and Rodri, but not as much as he does Melo, Mourinho and Real Madrid winning the season, according to Stuart Robson.
Yeah, let's see if he still feels that way after these two games coming up. Guys, stick around, stay right where you are. But we do know we will be seeing these guys and hearing much more from them across the weekend, as we do get to see Real Madrid and Barcelona playing their first game of La Liga's season, both of them away from home. Real Madrid to Espanyol and Barcelona against Elche, both of those games, ABC, ESPN Deportes, and of course on the app. Okay, Argentina's Leandro Paredes has been handed a 10-match ban for the role that he played in the on-field clashes after his side were beaten 1-0 in the World Cup final. Nahuel Molina, 7 matches. He's been banned, and the players will both also pay fines of $90,000. There you can see the same for Molina. Thiago Almada with a 1-match ban and a $30,000 fine. Roberto Ayala, we'll get there in a minute, Stevie, a member of the coaching staff, a 3-match ban and a $30,000 fine for striking Dani Olmo in the face. And Gavi from Spain, a 1-match ban and $30,000 fine. Frank is back with us. We do still have Stuart and Ale with us as well. Let me start with you, though, Stevie. Do these punishments fit what we've seen? Because I know for you, Roberto Ayala stands out.
That's the only one I have a problem with. You know, Ayala is supposed to be setting a standard for the players. The coaching staff have to set a standard and a culture for the team. And so if your culture and the standard you're setting is you're going to come running off the bench and start attacking the opposition, I mean, that is scandalous for me. I think that's what... You can somewhat understand Paredes. He's been playing in the game. He's just lost. Cup final. Emotions are all over the shop. But guess what? When you're a coach, you're on the side. You have to have a clear head. You're supposed to be the one that figures things out as they're happening, not get carried away, not get caught up in the emotion of the game, because then you can't do your job, number one. And so you're supposed to set a standard for everybody else around you. And so the only one I have a problem with is the coach, Ayala, not getting at least 10 games that Paredes got. And probably should have been fired. Let's be honest. The Argentina FA should have fired him. You know they're not going to, but he should have been fired.
Well, the Argentina FA are going to appeal the decision, and we'll go around the houses. But I do want to get your reaction, Alejandro Moreno, as a CONMEBOL player yourself, as to what you thought when you saw this punishment today.
Well, much like Stevie, I think they came up short with Roberto Ayala, because I, like Stevie, think that there's a higher standard for coaches and technical staff. As for Leandro Paredes, maybe this is an unpopular position, but I actually think they went a little too high with Paredes. So I'll go with too low on Roberto Ayala and too high on Leandro Paredes. What do you think, Stewie?
Yeah, they could have picked any figures out, but yeah, you and Stevie are right. The coach is the person that has to show the discipline. He's the one that has to lead the players. And if the coach is doing it and the manager's doing it, the players are going to follow, because they're going to say, well, there's our example. So I think that's a bit light. Paredes, the moment he came on the field as a substitute, you could tell there was something not quite right. He wanted to kick everybody, he then misbehaved at the end of the game. So
well, you could tell that about the whole Argentina team.
But him more than most.
Yes,
and I think his behaviour from the moment he came on to right at the end of the game, he was out of order and quite rightly got the punishment he deserved.
Yeah, it's not like I'm going to lose my mind over the fact that Leandro Paredes got 10 games. I just think that, and Stevie just touched upon it there, is that in the game things can get out of hand, and in the game sometimes you'll do things that are driven by emotion. It's part of your job as a player to control those emotions, but 10 matches worth, it felt like a whole lot. And we seem to be right now saving this shot as we have the police speeding past us. That's all right. We're professionals. The moment they said something about Leandro Paredes being banned 10 matches, somebody got really upset. All I would suggest is that it just feels a little high on Paredes. But look, as I said, I'm not going to lose any sleep over it. I do think that it should have been higher for Roberto Ayala.
Okay. Frank, I want to get your decision and your opinion on what you've seen today.
Yeah, I agree with the guy, with the coach, and the coach could be has to be an example for the players and has to come and calm them down. For Leandro Paredes, you know, when I saw the 10 games, I immediately checked, you know, his age, and I saw that he's 32, and I have doubts about his future with the national team. And if I get it rightly, I think the 10 games are only for the national team. So
Yes.
we won't see him anymore. So it doesn't really matter. I remember being red carded after a game with Chelsea in Europe. We've been kicked out, and I never played in Europe. So I still have one game ban forever, and I think that's going to last like that for Paredes. I don't think we're going to see him playing for the national team anymore, and therefore the 10 games, it could have been 20, 30, or 5, like Alejandro maybe would love. But it doesn't matter, because I don't think we're going to see Paredes anymore with the national team.
The AFA were also fined $321,000 for demonstration of non-sporting nature, team misconduct, discriminatory chants and gestures by its fans as well. So that's the punishment that's been laid down right now.
That's not going to help them. They probably got an extra 50 million for getting to the final.
Next two home matches, 50% capacity, can't be full in the stadium.
Right,
Does that hurt them?
That's now you're
But
you're starting to make sense.
34 million.
Yeah.
They go 34 million being in the final, so
Yeah,
doesn't really matter.
Fines is the easy way out. Should be you should be either nobody in the stadium, or next qualifying you should lose points. Something that's actually going to hurt them. Just making them write a cheque. A couple of weeks after they've written the cheque, they'll all forget about it. So yeah, it's finding people's no use. It's games that matter to me.
Yeah, this was a big news today, and
It's amazing.
Go ahead,
hold on there, Kay. It's amazing that Stevie of all people is the one saying, writing a check is fine. Look, if we have to pay money, it's fine. I got it. I got this, and I'm easy just signing that money away. Of all people, Stevie Nicol saying, fine me.
That multimillionaire Stevie Nicol, he doesn't care about money, does he? He's got so much.
He's going to pay it for them. All right, make sure to stay up to date with everything that's going on in the world of football every single day right here on ESPN FC. It was a narrow escape for Spurs last year, and this year things are looking a lot brighter. However, Roberto De Zerbi has made sure and said out loud that last season cannot be forgotten.
I think we can't forget what happened last season. Is a lesson, a big lesson for us, for every one of us. But anyway, we have to go in another page and to start another season, important season. We are building, I think, a new project. And now the big challenge, without talk too much about the target, the goal of this season, the first two targets we have very clear in ourselves is to find the soul of the team. The first target, and the second target to improve in our organization of of football, with the ball, without the ball. Our style has to be the key of our season, like our soul.
What do you think about what he's saying there, Stevie?
I understand what he's talking about don't forget last year. But you could say that about the last 5 seasons at Spurs, couldn't you? Don't forget the one before, and the one before, and the one before. But personally, I'm all about the only thing that matters is the next thing you do. That's how I was brought up. I was brought up, the only thing that matters is what you do next. You don't get anything for the last game. If you win the league and you beat a team 10-0, unfortunately, that's gone. Now the next thing you do is the most important thing. So I understand where he's coming from. I just happen to think that you don't want anything to do with last season. It's not about last season. This is what we're doing this season. So forget that. Forget that. Shove that away. Stick it in a bucket somewhere, or a trash. Sorry. It's all about now, and it's all about what we do now. And for me, it's got nothing to do with last season.
And when you look at the team and how they've built the team over the summer, Frank, you're not even thinking about those bottom spots in the Premier League. You're looking up. You're looking at how high this team can finish right now.
Well, at least you should. And I agree with Stevie. You know, forget about what happened. You know, look forward. And maybe also don't try too much about specific stuff like the soul, the organization, whatever you want to do. You want to win a game. You're going to play against a good team of Brentford. It's going to be hard. But if you lose, you're going to look for the confidence that you were talking about. You have to win games. And with the player that they have this season, there will be no excuses. Yes, the dressing room has to work well, but the talent of the player should be enough to at least finish in the first 10. At least, really, because we have talent. It's up to Mr. De Zerbi to find a way to make Spurs play and play well, and again, win games.
Deal has been agreed for Savinho. Yesterday we were talking about this double swoop for Savinho and Omar Marmoush from Manchester City. Savinho in. We wonder what happens next. Craig was not having this double swoop and the 150 million that we were talking about. What did you think of what he was saying?
I have to tell you, I don't disagree with what he said. I mean, it's... Manchester City are letting Marmoush and Savinho go for a reason. Not because, you know, we can all talk about, Savinho's only 22. He's got such an upside. Well, the truth is, if he'd such an upside, he wouldn't be leaving Manchester City. And Marmoush wasn't really a starter for Manchester City. So for them to get, you know, if you just cut it down, let's cut it down the middle, make it simple. What, 75 million for a guy who doesn't start? I mean, talk about great business.
As for these guys, for the players themselves, they want more minutes, obviously. And when you look at Omar Marmoush, he may be playing in a more favourable position, a position he was more used to playing in at Frankfurt, which he couldn't playing with Erling Haaland there. Yeah,
and it's really great to look on the paper and see what you're capable of and see what you maybe did in Germany. But if you want to turn another page and look what you've actually done in the Premier League, again, there's a reason why Marmoush in particular wasn't getting a game. And Savinho kind of falls into the same boat in terms of what Spurs might get out of them. Now, for the two players, this is fantastic. They're going to a side that's rebuilding totally. They're desperate, and they're going to start. And so it's up to them now. You know, Savinho and Marmoush are going to Spurs, and as soon as they're ready, and as soon as they're fit, they'll be in the team. And that's all they can ask for, because now it's up to them to make sure they stay in the team. But the question is, will they stay in the team? We don't know, because both of these players have not proven themselves to be starters in the Premier League.
To get that second chance with another team in the Premier League, do you see these guys taking it, Frank?
For Marmoush, yes. I want to believe that after what I saw when he was playing for Frankfurt, that he's capable of doing stuff. But we saw so many players coming from the Bundesliga and not being able to adapt to the Premier League. But I want to believe with his technique and with his pace, that it's possible for him to rebirth and give what he was giving to Frankfurt. For Savinho, I have doubts, you know, and it's 100 million transfer. That's huge. That's a big pressure. He has no excuse anymore, and he's only 22. But as Stevie said, you know, if you haven't been successful in a big team like Manchester City, and you come with a big pressure and only 22 playing for Spurs, that's going to be easy. And you will have to prove a lot. So let's see. I really hope it's going to work for Spurs already, because they put the money down and lots of money. And of course for the players, because you want to wish always the best for the players. But Savinho, allow me to have some doubts.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how it all plays out, Tottenham Hotspur, this season under De Zerbi, with the money that they have spent in the summer. Stay up to date with all of the transfers right here on our website, espnfc.com. Every single day it's updated there, the ins, the outs, the rumours, everything you need to know. A 4-0 win for Stuttgart. Kaiserslautern also getting off to a good start. Frankfurt, I think 10 of those goals were scored in the first half, by the way. Just the one in the second. I mean, they need to get their act together. 11-0. They'll be needing to go to the pub after a beating like that, Stevie. And yes, Borussia Mönster against Karlsruhe. 2-1 did that finish to the away side. That's all we've got time for on the latest edition of ESPN FC. Stay right where you are. Frank and Stevie are sticking around to answer your questions on Extra Time. Welcome into the latest edition of Extra Time with Frank Leboeuf and Stevie Nicol. Hello, guys. First question. Stevie, are you considering taking yoga classes to help you with the possible frustration with Liverpool again this season?
Well, I tell you what, there's no way. If you saw me in the morning and try to get me socks on, then you would completely shove yoga to the side.
Oh, maybe that's why
Because that's not happening.
Maybe that's why you need yoga.
It was too late.
To limber up a little
It's too
bit.
late.
Never too late, Stevie.
All right, I'll give it a go then.
Okay, little downward dog.
A little, a what?
Little shabashana for you.
What are you talking about?
Yoga poses. I bet Frank knows a bit of yoga.
Of course he does.
Little cobra pose for you, Frank.
Yes, of course, and I even can put my head down, you know, between my hands and put myself on like a tree, you know, upside down tree, you know. And I did 3 years yoga, and because I had back problems, but I had to do it because I wasn't feeling good, and it helped me like crazy. It's a hard time, but you feel so good after an hour. So I really invite you, my dear Stevie, to start doing yoga.
I actually did that one he was talking about once, but it was the end of a night out. And I wasn't trying to do it.
I'd love to see. I would love to give you a few poses to do.
Oh, God. I would get cramps straight away.
No, we're going to put you to the test. I'm going to make it happen.
Oh, gosh.
Thanks for the question, Oscar.
Good idea, though.
Okay, next one. What is the most impressive aspect from Arsenal's evolution in the attack?
Zolis is very interesting. How to see him being so effective immediately and how he wants to work with the team, not being stuck on the left side. Is what I liked about his way of thinking the football, and he's allowed by Arteta to do so. I don't think he's frustrated, and I like to see back White, Odegaard, and Saka on the right side, and being as effective as they used to be when they worked together. And last first game, we saw that, and we saw that the percentage of attack that they had from the right side, that's something that's key for them. And so I like the positive aspect of the game offensively that they put on today.
Okay.
Do you know one of the things I like that Arteta's done? You know, when you're the coach, there's a fine line between backing a player and sticking with them too long. You know, and when you sign players, you want them to do well because obviously you want everything that comes along with it. But Arteta, you know, Martinelli a couple of years ago was flying again, scored 14 goals, I think it was. And then the following season, straight away, he didn't sit in his hands. He brought in Trossard, and all of a sudden, Martinelli halfway through the season was out, and Trossard was great. And now this year, he's moved Trossard on, who for the first half of the season last year was great, and he's brought in, what was his name again? Solis. And he's actually done a little bit the same on the other side, bringing Madueke in, because you're like, why are you bringing Madueke? You've got Saka. Well, he's like, you know what? I'm going to push this guy, Saka. I'm going to cover him in case we get an injury. I can cover him if he needs a rest. But if he's actually not doing it, then I've got Madueke as well. So I think he's done a great job. You know, Havertz and Gyökeres is another one. I know Havertz got injured last year, but, you know, he had Havertz. But he wasn't ready just to turn around and say, okay, everyone's on you. He bought Gyökeres. And so he gave Gyökeres the jersey, and it didn't work out, and he's gone back to Havertz. So, but he's obviously still got the trust of the players. You know, to be able to get that is huge. And especially in today's game, when so many players have got, you know, huge egos, to actually be able to bring them in and out without affecting them or the dressing room, I think that's been impressive from Arteta.
Okay, next question. What does Stevie think of Carrick saying it's ridiculous that Hull away is an easy start to the season? Surely it's as good as it gets to open a season. So obviously Hull were the team that came off through the playoff final. After that it's Ipswich as well, another newly promoted side. And I think today, after Arsenal have come up against the newly promoted side in Coventry and had the win that they had, some people have been bringing up Carrick's comments about this.
Well, Carrick's absolutely right. You know, look, clearly you don't want to start the season away at Arsenal or away at Anfield, you know, something like that. But you don't want to start the season away at a team that's just come up. I mean, think about the FA Cup final and multiply it by 10. That's how big a day this is for the team, the fans, just every single thing to do with Hull. That's what Carrick's talking about. That's why it's not easy. And obviously, most teams are not, you know, Arsenal kind of stamped on that today. But generally, most teams, first game of the season, they're not up to speed. They're not at their best yet. They're not at their fittest or the sharpest. And so when you're going to a team like Hull who've just come up, it's, as I said, it's a cup final, multiply it by 10. And that's what he's saying. And I wouldn't want it either. And I didn't want it. And I actually remember, this is how good my memory is, I think it was 1982.
That is a good memory.
And we got Wolves away, who just got promoted. And I can still hear Joe Fagan when we found out saying, oh, that's the one we didn't want. And I was like, why would you not want that? But now I know, because we went there, guess what? We drew. European champions, won the league the year before, and we got a point at Hull. And they were okay. The coaching staff were okay with that, because they understand what it's like. So I'm with Carrick.
I get it. Okay, Frank, go on, Frank.
I'm sorry, but if I... Yeah, on top of it, the pressure is huge. You don't want to play, as Stevie said, you don't want to play against Liverpool or Arsenal or even Chelsea away from home, because you know the game is huge and you have to perform well. And you don't want to play against those kind of teams, because everybody, if you lose or draw, we say, oh, what's wrong? Already, something's bad. So you want to play not an average team, but a team that you already know. Like, I think it's good for Chelsea to play against Fulham, it's good for Spurs to play against Brentford away from home, because you always try to find an excuse if you draw or if you lose. But you have no excuses playing away from home against Hull, where, I agree with Stevie, it's much more difficult than to play against Fulham or Brentford. So there is no easy path, and you have to go that. But I agree with Michael Carrick. It's hard. It's going to be hard for Manchester United.
What would be a successful season, Frank, for Spurs, especially after all the money they spent this summer?
Well, I predicted I end up with them 6th in the league, because I think they can achieve that. They're not going to be alone, because I didn't put Newcastle or Aston Villa, or I don't forget about Brentford as well last season, what they were capable of doing. But yeah, it's unacceptable when we saw the two last season from Spurs. And with the signing that they got this season, it's even worse. So you cannot even think about finishing 10th for sure, but I think they have to aim the European seats. Otherwise, it's unfair viewing what they were capable of spending and the team that they have. It's impossible for me to finish more than 7th.
Okay, Stevie?
No, I think yes, they've made a lot of signings and they could be good. But again, right now it's again all on paper. But if you're realistic in your Spurs, to go from almost getting relegated to getting into the European spots, that you have to be happy with that.
Frank, last question. How is theatre life going? Any new projects coming up?
Oh yes, it's going great. I was in Southern France 2 days ago. We were supposed to play, but there were thunder, and when we were playing outside, because you have some festival in the summer, and they were afraid that it would rain or we'll have some thunder, so it's been cancelled. But I'm in the middle of a tour right now. We're going to finish in December, and we will play like 97 times, so it's great. And I'm planning on doing other things in September 2027 and producing 2 other plays, putting some money down to see some young actors to see playing, like my son, for example, and some other people that I like. So everything is going great. I enjoy this new life for me. Well, new life, it's been like 16 years now. But I enjoy that. I enjoy being in front of the audience today on ESPN.
We need to go and see Frank, don't we?
I've got one for Frank. I've got a question for Frank. I'm interested to know what he thinks. So again, I can't speak for Frank, but I know that So the Liverpool teams I played for, there was a couple of times we were away from home and we got up in the morning and Ronnie Moran come round about 10 o'clock, something like that, and went, right, get your gear, we're going home, game's cancelled. And I know most of the boys were like, yes, right, let's get the beers on the bus, yes, I'll need to phone home, get the beers on the bus, we'll get back about 4 o'clock, and we'll get straight out, get away to pick me up, and then we'll go out and go the night out, and wow, Is that what you were thinking the other night, when you were supposed to go on stage and it got cancelled? Were you thinking, right, let's...
Well,
few bottles of wine.
We turned up the night before, you know, because we didn't play for like 2 months because of the summertime in the World Cup, and then because I'm the producer, I dealt like that, and so we're happy to play again, and because it's been 2 months without being on stage, and so we arrived the day before to rehearse, supposedly, and as we land, we've been told that we could go back. So I said, you know what, we stay one night, we went to the restaurant all together, we had some beers, we enjoyed, and we left the morning after, and we're gonna see each other within like 2 or 3 weeks where we're gonna start the tour again. Well, it's, I hear what you say, but because I'm the producer, I'm ready to spend a little bit of money to enjoy a nice dinner and some beers.
Yeah, a little different.
Aye.
And not the beers. Glass of Chardonnay,
A glass of Chardonnay, yeah, right.
For Frankie. All right, thank you so much for sending in your questions. Thanks to the guys for answering them. Be sure to be with us this weekend. It's a big weekend. Lots of football coming up. We'll be talking about all of it on ESPN FC.